You are 26. It's Thanksgiving, your first one as a married man. Ray carves the turkey standing up, the way his father did. Judy tells the same story she tells every year about Claire falling off her bike at 7. Everyone laughs in the same places they always laugh. Kyle asks what you do for work. You tell him dispatch software, a small company, 4 guys above a dry cleaner in Rockville. You built a scheduling tool so plumbers and HVA techs stop losing jobs on paper calendars. Kyle nods. He's not impressed and he's not unimpressed. He just nods the way you'd nod at anyone's job. Nobody at this table thinks about your money. You're just Claire's husband. The guy who's decent on the grill and remembers everyone's birthday. That's it. Nothing happens. You just don't know yet that this is the version of the family you'll spend years trying to get back to. A local business paper writes a short piece about your company. Routewise sold for $6.4 million. Your name is in there, 3rd of 4 founders. Ray finds out from a guy at his gym before you even mention it yourself. That's the first strange part, a stranger telling your father-in-law about your life. At Christmas, Ray raises his glass and says, "To our resident tycoon." Everyone laughs. You laugh too, because it's a joke. But you notice the way he says it, like it's a costume that doesn't quite fit you. Judy asks, over the green beans, how much you actually made. Not how you're feeling, not what's next, how much. You give her a number lower than the real one. You don't plan to lie. It just comes out smaller. Then the table moves on to Kyle's fantasy football team. You go home and tell Claire it was nothing. You believe that for the next 8 months. A regular Sunday dinner, nothing on the calendar. Judy mentions, while clearing plates, that the roof needs replacing. $14,000. Ray's pension doesn't stretch that far anymore. She says this to the sink, not to you. Nobody asks you for money directly. That's the part that takes you a minute to understand. Nobody has to ask directly anymore. They just say the number out loud in the room and wait to see what you do with it. You end up paying for 1/3 of the roof anyway. You route it through Claire, call it an anniversary gift to her parents. No discussion, no paperwork. It works. The roof gets fixed. Nobody has to say the sentence, "My son-in-law paid for this." But it teaches everyone at that table something too, including you. The ask doesn't have to be direct to land. You just have to say it near the sink. Right now, about 7 in 10 American adults say they've lent money or covered a bill for a family member expecting to be paid back. More than half of them ended up worse off for it. Money lost, a relationship damaged, sometimes both. You don't know that number yet. You're about to learn it firsthand. Easter. Kyle pulls you out to the driveway to look at his car, which is really just an excuse to talk. He wants to start a food truck, Korean barbecue. He's been researching it for months. He knows a guy selling a used truck and kitchen setup for $35,000. He doesn't ask you for a loan directly. He asks if you'd want in. Same thing, nicer shirt. You tell him you'll think about it. He laughs and says, I mean, it's basically nothing to you at this point, right? It's a joke. It's also not a joke. You both know it. You spend 3 weeks actually running the numbers on his plan. It's not a bad plan. It's a plan built by someone who's never run payroll or survived a bad month. So you write up a real agreement, $35,000, 4% interest, a repayment schedule reviewed by your accountant, the same terms you'd give anyone. You hand it to him at a diner, not at Judy's table, on purpose. He reads 2 pages and looks up. Wait, you want me to sign something? It's family. You tell him that's exactly why you want it in writing. So it stays family, whatever happens to the truck. He doesn't sign it that day. He says he'll think about it. He never brings it up again. 6 weeks later, Sunday dinner. Kyle doesn't look at you the whole meal. Judy is warmer than usual, the kind of warm that's covering for something. Ray asks how the roof on your own house is holding up. A normal question that isn't really normal. You answer it anyway, like it is. Under the table, Claire taps your foot once. It means, I see it too. Keep going. Here's what you understand for the first time that night, watching Kyle avoid your eyes over the mashed potatoes. You didn't say no to family. You said no to a version of family that only worked if you never asked for anything back. The paperwork wasn't the insult. The paperwork just made visible a deal that had always been sitting under the table, unsigned. The one where being able to help meant being required to. 3 weeks after the diner, Judy asks you to help carry serving dishes. In 9 years, she's never once needed your help with dishes. She waits until you're both alone at the counter. Kyle didn't mean anything by it, she says. He's just proud. He doesn't like asking. It's an apology on his behalf that he'd never make himself. You tell her you know. You mean it. That's the strange part of this whole thing. Nobody here is the villain. Not Kyle, not Judy, not you. Which somehow makes it harder to fix, not easier. There's no single moment you can point to and undo. Before she picks the dishes back up, Judy says one more thing. You know you don't have to prove anything to us. You don't answer right away. You're turning the sentence over, trying to decide if it's true. You're still not sure it is. Some part of you has been quietly trying to prove something to this family since the article came out. You didn't call it that until right now, standing at her counter, holding a bowl of stuffing. June. Claire's cousin Amanda gets married. It's a big family wedding, everyone from Judy's side there. The registry has a line for cash toward the honeymoon. Before the ceremony, Ray mentions casually that some people are giving $500, maybe $1,000. Whatever feels right for family. You and Claire had already decided on $2,000. 5 years ago, that number would have felt enormous to you. Now it doesn't. You write the check. Amanda thanks you both quietly at the reception, genuinely moved. No performance in it at all. 3 weeks later, at a normal Sunday dinner, Judy mentions to Claire, across the table, like you're not even sitting there, that Amanda told her cousin Denise how generous you two were. And Denise made a comment about how nice it must be to not have to think about a number like that. Judy laughs when she says it. Like it's a funny observation about the world. Maybe it is. But you feel your face do something you have to consciously undo. The gift was never about the wedding. By the time it finished traveling through the family, it had become evidence in an argument about you, made at a table you weren't even sitting at. You are 32, Thanksgiving. 6 years since the first one in this story. You cross $2.3 million in net worth the same month. The last part of the Routewise payout hits your account on a random Tuesday. No toast, no announcement. You just watch the number update on your laptop before work. You don't mention it at dinner. You learned years ago not to mention numbers at this table. You walk in and Judy's already set the places. Same folding chair, pulled in from the garage, corner of the table closest to the kitchen. Nobody assigns it to you on purpose. It's just where the extra chair goes when the table runs short. And somehow you're always the extra chair. Welcome, but never quite one of the regular seats. Kyle's at the other end, laughing at something with Ray. He's polite to you. Genuinely polite, not performing it. Just careful. The way you'd be careful around a tool you don't fully know how to use. Nobody asks about Routewise anymore. Not because they stop being curious. Because asking opens a door nobody's decided how to walk through. Ray asks about the Eagles game instead. You talk about the Eagles game. Claire says quietly on the drive home, "My mom asked me last week if you'd ever consider helping with Kyle's rent." Not you this time, Claire. They've started routing the ask through her. That's its own kind of answer. Proof that asking you directly now costs something they'd rather not pay. You ask what she said. I told her that's between you and Kyle. You reach over and hold her hand on the gear shift. Neither of you says anything else the rest of the drive. The silence does more work than a conversation would. You didn't lose the family. Nobody stopped inviting you to anything. You're just not fully inside it the way you used to be. And the strange part is, you're not even sure you'd undo it if you could. Being fully inside it, it turns out, required staying exactly as reachable as everyone needed you to be. This year, you are 33, same table, same folding chair. Judy hugs you at the door, the way she always has. And it's not fake. That's the part that's hard to explain to anyone who hasn't lived it. None of it is fake. Not the hug, not the small talk, not the real affection sitting right next to the careful distance. Both things are true in the same room, at the same time. Ray raises a glass at some point. A normal toast this year. No tycoon jokes. You clink glasses with Kyle. He asks how work is going and actually means it. For about 40 seconds, it feels like that first Thanksgiving again. The one before anyone knew anything. Then Judy asks Claire, not you, whether you two have thought more about helping with the wedding costs for Kyle's daughter, who is 9, whose wedding is not for another 15 years, minimum. Claire says they'll cross that bridge when they get to it. The table moves on. You sit in the folding chair and finish your plate. Nobody here will ever fully believe that the money changed less than the asking did. You're still figuring out what you owe people who loved you before there was anything to owe. Nobody's told you the answer. You're starting to think nobody's going to.